What's going on, toy friends? On today's episode, we have a special one to end the year. We're not going to be looking at one toy convention, we're actually going to be looking at two, Penrith and Campbelltown CollectorCon, both at the end of 2024. Let's have a look at some of the footage from these great conventions and have a look at a few of the items that we've picked up along the way. So guys, CollectorCon Campbelltown, it's a smaller convention compared to Penrith. It's only 2 halls, but there's still 180 tables of toy goodness. And I had the early bird ticket, as always. A few of the toy crew were there, not everyone. I was flying solo from my family. My wife didn't attend this convention. So I just sort of strolled around a little bit more, taking my time looking through tubs, and the first item I found was a little Ziploc bag full of my good favorite, Monsters in My Pocket from Series 1. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you would have heard me talking about these a few times now, trying to pick up the complete Series 1 collection. And in this little baggie of 5 monsters, there were actually 2 in there that I needed for the collection. So with that, it has brought the collection all the way down to 3. I need 3 more. I don't think I'm going to find them this year, but it continues the hunt in 2025. So I'm looking forward to that, and that was a great start to the day. So I'm walking over and I see one of my favorite tables in Toy Box Collectibles 2.0, where Ian and Ben run that table, and they've just got a majority of different figure lines on the table, a few tubs to look through. And something I noticed straight away was this Star Wars vintage collection, Boba Fett, one of the deluxe figures in these crappy windowless boxes. But I was able to grab this from Ian and add that into my collection. Really good price on that, so I really do appreciate that, mate. But even in Ben's tub, I was lucky enough to meet the one and only Tiny Indy, and I was also lucky enough to get a little tiny Jesus figure. So this little guy is in his little case and ready to be displayed in our toy collection. So as I keep heading through Hall 2, just taking my time, strolling around by myself at this point, I run into Phil Taylor from Taylor's Toys and Treasures, and I picked up a few items from Phil. One was this Andorian Star Trek figure from the original series. So I really liked this figure. I liked that it came with the soft goods, and I have been picking up Star Trek figures here and there. They're getting a little bit harder to find. I have quite a lot of them, and I'm getting them mint on card to the best of my ability. So pretty happy to have one more in the collection. So besides Star Trek, there's always got to be Star Wars, and a claim sale that was put up by Phil on his Facebook page the night before gave me the opportunity to add a few vintage collection Star Wars figures into the collection. So I was lucky enough to get the Bespin hand. So he's actually in really good nick, and I got him for a pretty good price. And I got Princess Leia. Now she does have a bit of discoloring in that middle abdomen area, but she's still a really cool looking figure, and the face paint on this is just still in great condition. So I picked up 2 more vintage collection Star Wars figures for my dodgy collection of vintage Star Wars figures. That leaves me now with 2. And I only need 2 more figures in it. Luke Skywalker Farm Boy and R2-D2 with the sensor scope, minus the last 15 I need, because I have only 2 of those. So yeah, I'm getting there. 2025, I'm hoping I'll be able to finish my vintage collection and then start accessorizing them. So the last item I picked up from Phil in Campbelltown, I was pretty excited. It was another claim sale item that I had picked up from his Facebook auction, and it was this scepter. Now this scepter goes with the vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles King Lionheart figure that I picked up. Now I found this a few years ago, this figure loose by itself in a tub for $2. Like, it was the craziest tub find I've ever had. Over the time I've been able to pick up his shield, and now we pick up his scepter, which we add into there, and I've got 1 weapon left to go, his sword. But even with those accessories and this loose figure in a tub for $2, I'm up to about 20 bucks spent completing this guy. So hopefully find his sword for pretty cheap, and that's a win all round to add this guy and his weapons into the Turtles collection. So pretty stoked with that. Thanks, Phil. So as I said at the start, Campbelltown CollectorCon is a smaller event, and it didn't stop me from having a great day and walking around, spending a little bit more time talking to store owners, just digging through tubs of figures. There were plenty of store owners there that you see at most conventions, and a few new faces. So it was really good to have a chat with all of them, hang out with a few of the toy crew that was there on the day. But no toy convention that I go to comes home without some Star Wars in the collection. So today we add in a few carded figures that I found for cheap that I'm just going to bust open and add into my loose figure collection, really for just some world building and army building perspective. So the first figures that I picked up was another Droideka. Cannot have enough Droidecas. Those things are so cool in the collection. And I picked up the Senate security guard. Now this one is a bit different to the original one that came out, and I think it was Power of the Jedi line. So this brings in the soft good fabric cloaks, so it makes them a little bit more posable. And the last figure that we added was this really massive Boss Nass figure. So they've made 2 Boss Nass figures in the line since they started. Have both of them in the figure now, so I can make 2 different sort of scenes from the movie. So at this point of the day in Campbelltown, we've started to slow down, and the toy crew has sort of met up a little bit more, and we're just chatting about things that we've found. And Matt from Keep On Collecting said to me, "Did you notice the big stack of Goosebump books on a table in the other hall?" And I was like, "What? No." So raced over there with Matt, and there was this giant stack of Goosebump books from the first wave, which again is a wave that I've been really hard collecting for. And I've got five books left, and lucky enough, thanks to Matt, I was able to add 2 more Goosebump books into the collection. So we added in Werewolf Skin, which is number 60, and we added in number 61, I Live in Your Basement. So these end of the line ones, they're a little bit harder to find, and these are only $8 each. So at this point, I have 3 Goosebump books left to get in the collection. Again, something I'll be hunting in 2025. And like, my goal is not to buy these on eBay. I've said it before, not to buy them on eBay, not to just get them and say I've got them, but to hunt them down, op shops, toy conventions. They're the only place I allow. So I put a little rule on myself, and we've done very well to only have 3 left. So I'm pretty happy with that. So staying with the Goosebumps, and Matt from Keep On Collecting, he gifted me this little stationery pack that he had found during the day, and he picked it up. So you get a eraser, which has fallen down from up here. You get your pencil sharpener, a ruler, 1 pencil, and of course your pencil case. So thank you, Matt, for grabbing that. It's just out of a show bag back in a few years ago. So just a little cool thing to have, and yeah, I'll pop that in the Goosebumps display area of the collection. Thanks again, buddy. So that wraps Campbelltown CollectorCon, but like I said at the start of the video, we're looking at 2 conventions. So let's pop over and have a look at what Penrith CollectorCon has to offer. So Penrith CollectorCon, it was an extremely hot day. It was about 34 degrees. So getting in early, getting your hunting done before the day warmed up, and before it really got packed in there, was a no-brainer. And we found so many good items to finish the year when it came to toy conventions and toy hunts. So here's a few of the items that we picked up, and there's some real cool items in here that I was pretty stoked to get into the collection. So as I start my morning, we head over to Retro Cartel Collectibles, where he's got a whole bunch of loose turtle figures, the vintage figures, the ones we love. And it's been a while since I picked one up. It's getting harder and harder to find one that I don't have, and they're getting a bit scarce here in Australia. But luckily enough, he had a mutation foot soldier. Now I had to scoop this guy up. Great price, and one that I don't have, but also the feature of the foot soldier transforming into the robot itself was just super cool. Came with one of his weapons and the little ooze canister. I think he might be missing one weapon to make him complete, but I'd have to double check that. But to start my day with a vintage turtle, that was a fantastic start. So yeah, he's pretty cool, eh? So right next to Retro Cartel Collectibles was the man himself, Tony B, with all his toy goodness from floor to ceiling, tubs all over the floor in front, and just a smorgasbord of toys to dig through. And as soon as I walked into his booth, I had a good look around, and I noticed a Street Shark that I didn't have in my collection. And if you watched one of my previous videos, you would have noticed that I completed my loose collection of Street Sharks. But what I found was actually a bootleg Street Shark. So I added this guy, I picked him up, asked Tony, what does this guy cost? And it was pretty much, put it in your box, mate, you can have him. So thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate that, mate. He's a super cool figure. He's just got the whole He-Man thing going on. They've just shoved a shark head on top and said, there you go, enjoy, kids. And I'm loving it. So I was having a great time at Tony's booth, and I just stuck around there for quite some time, digging through the tubs, having a good old fashioned toy day. And I found a few more turtle items. So I actually picked up this DVD of the Turtles: The Next Mutation. This is the live action Turtles TV show from the 90s. A real cringy watch these days, but I'd never seen it on DVD, so I thought I'd grab it. And it looks to me that it's about half the episode, so there must be one other disc that goes with this. But I also found something pretty cool in the vintage Turtles. A little bit of merchandise was this eraser. So this Raphael rubber that is, look, it's unpunched too. So, you know, but it's definitely a cool piece of turtle memorabilia from the 1990s. And I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna add that to the collection as well. So what else did Tony have? I told you I was there for a little while, and I actually found these VHS tapes of Visionaries. I absolutely love Visionaries. So I got the Dark Hand of Treachery and the Age of Magic Begins. So two VHS Visionaries, absolute pristine copies, no mold at all inside these. So I was so happy to get these. If you haven't checked out this cartoon from the late 80s, it's only 13 episodes, but the whole premises is just fantastic. And I love it. It's got a toy line and everything. So yeah, if you haven't looked it up, look up Visionaries. You can just watch it off YouTube these days. So enjoy it. So guys, again, the whole family's there for this toy convention. My little one, my wife, and we're just having a great time. Digging through all this stuff and just chatting with everyone as we normally do. Headed over to Freaky Deek's Toys, where I didn't end up grabbing anything off Deek this convention, but he did say, you know what, grab yourself a little Boglin as a little Merry Christmas present. So thank you, Deek. I add this guy, which is my first Boglin ever, into the collection. I never really got into Boglins. There's no nostalgia for me in them. So I don't think I'm going to start a full-on go nuts collection of Boglins, but I appreciate that you offered this little guy into the collection, mate, so thank you. So talking about toy lines that I don't often see in the wild, and that would be Battle Beasts. So I actually found this little Battle Beast guy on a table, and he was a pretty good price. These things can get quite expensive, especially if they got their accessory with them. I do have 4 Battle Beasts from my childhood. So picking up one more when I see them, and I might start to dabble in this line where I see them. I know they come with their little heat pad, little square on their chest there. This one doesn't seem to be wanting to work. So pretty happy still to find a Battle Beast. I haven't seen one for the whole year, so there we go. Battle Beast in the collection. So let's stick with lines that I don't often see, or lines that I don't really collect for. And the one big line that I don't collect is G.I. Joe. So had a lot of Corpse figures, the Lanard Corpse Toys figures when I was a kid. That was my G.I. Joe. But there were a couple here and there that I know my older brother had that I got to play with. So Sci-Fi, I think, is the figure that I had when I was a kid, and I actually picked him back up I think either last year or the start of this year. But then I also found this guy, and this was one that I absolutely remembered playing with as a kid. Now he was just in a little tub, $2, and I just said, you know what, why not? He's got a bit of yellowing on his legs, but like I said, I'm not collecting these for a whole set. Like, there is just so much G.I. Joe out there, it gets a bit scary when I think about it. But I definitely had to add this one into the collection, and I just love him, so I'll put him with Sci-Fi over there, and those two can reminisce like I did. So I just want to take a second to shout out someone in the community that put up a post on Facebook the other day saying that they were looking for a part for their vintage Turtles sewer layer. It was actually the manhole cap that they were looking for to complete their sewer playset. And I just thought to myself, I think I have that part sitting in a Ziploc bag somewhere. Probably had it for about 3 years now, and I thought, look, let's help someone out. And it actually ended up becoming a great conversation. We talked about, like, what turtle parts do you have, what do you need? And he ended up having 3 of the pizza discs for the pizza thrower that I needed. Now there's 2 different types of pizza discs, so I was lucky enough that the 3 that I needed was the 3 that he had. So that completes my pizza thrower, and he got a nice part. So Kai, thank you, buddy, for meeting up at the convention, and we did a little swap, and it was great just to have a chat and sit back and, yeah, just reminisce on a few of these toy lines that we love. So not only did I have that little swap for turtle parts, my good mate Matt from Keep On Collecting, he had saw me at the Campbelltown convention looking at this creature play set, and I looked at it and I was umming and ahhing, and he said, don't buy that, I might be able to help you out. And at Penrith, Matt brought in this fantastic Aquaman Aquaman shark with Jason Momoa as Aquaman. So thank you so much, Matt. It's something I wanted years ago. Aquaman is my favorite superhero. There's also a hammerhead shark, which would just be like crazy cool to see and to get into the collection. But Matt just said, look, this is not a line for me anymore. Let's move it on to someone who enjoy it. Love Aquaman, love Jason Momoa. Was lucky enough to meet Jason Momoa a few times now, and yeah, what great movie this was. This was one of the highlights of that whole DC franchise. And yeah, so thank you, Matt, for adding this incredible piece into our collection, mate. Thank you. So you're gonna get used to me saying it, but no toy hunt is complete without Star Wars. And my God, did this convention bring the Star Wars. So I chucked in a few collectible pieces that I might not open. So starting with the Clone Wars Nick Dogard here. He's a fantastic looking figure from the Clone Wars TV show. He was there, something I hadn't seen for a while. Well, actually I hadn't seen it all. So I picked him up and probably leave him on card. This one I think I'm definitely going to leave on card. This was the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. This is the Covert Ops Clone Trooper. I'd never seen this before. So this is a really unique card art, really unique figure, not in the movies at all. So I think I might even put this one in a nice bubble. Like, the card's really cool on this one. And one that I will open, and I wanted for the Geonosis display, is the how do you say it? The Nix cat. So very yellow box. I picked this up from Toshi Station, and he knew that I was going to open it, so he actually gave me $5 more off the discounted price that I already had worked out with him. So thank you very much for that, mate. I appreciate that. So the last thing I picked up, and here's an overview shot of it. It is all loose Star Wars figures. Now this is all the figures that I collected from Campbelltown and Penrith. There was a gentleman there who just had a tub of loose Star Wars figures, and you might have seen the footage already, but I just dumped them out on the floor with his permission, of course, and just sorted through them, picked up a whole bunch, made a wonderful bundle deal price for him, and I get to put all those figures, populate this Star Wars shelves and the Star Wars scenes that I am creating. So that world building visual aspect of those shelves is really coming along. But I won't show you those shelves yet, not until my room tour video at the start of 2025. So hopefully I can finish all that by then, be able to show you guys this whole collection in one big video. So one of the biggest moments of my toy hunting this year was a father moment. I was able to see my son dress up as Batman for the cosplay younglings competition at Penrith, and he just looked fantastic, and he had his pop out wings, as you can see, and it just made me see like how exciting the next few years will be toy hunting, as he gets more and more into it, as he gets more and more into wanting to play with all the toys, rip them off the table like we all do, and just have fun with all this stuff that we enjoy. Such a proud moment for me. So the conventions have been fantastic this year. We've had Penrith conventions, Campbelltown conventions, we've had the new Newcastle convention. We've been all over the shop for these CollectorCons and picked up some fantastic items to add into our collection. Some items that we really wanted to find and add, some items we didn't know that we wanted to, so we just bought them anyway. Plenty of gifts and swaps. So between the toy crew and people in the community that I've got to meet and talk to, the sellers that I've got to get to know a little bit better, from the boys at Minikins Collectibles to the fellas at Toy Box Collectibles, Tony B, Carl from Retro Cartel Collectibles, Phil from Phil Taylor, there's Kyle from Second Childhood Toys. There's just an array of different vendors out there that we just have a good chat with. We may not buy something every time from them, but it's not always about just buying and picking up things. It's just about community, really just engaging each other. So like I said at the start, our toy crew was there, so we finished our day before it got too hot, and we just all headed off to have lunch. So big shout out to Amy, all the organizers. The CollectorCons are getting bigger, they're getting better. We're getting food trucks, we're getting all sorts of things just to make the experience so much better. So until 2025 rolls around and we start hitting up these toy conventions again, hope you have a great year, what's left of it, and enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not. If you're new to the channel, thank you. We're talking all things toys, all things nostalgia. So thank you everyone. What has been a fantastic toy hunting year. Until next time, happy hunting everyone.